Hey, welcome back, Bearded Nation. It is yet another sports podcast with your bearded brothers. Sadly, we don't know who we are today, so we're not going to bother to introduce ourselves. And even if we did, we're going to forget in about 10 minutes anyhow.
I don't remember shit.
Yeah, no, I don't remember a lot of shit either at the moment. We're not sure what kind of podcast this is going to be today, because we're not fucking sure what we're going to talk about yet. So,
we're kind of just, this is one of those weird times where there wasn't as much news as we were hoping for. We were expecting a couple more big things to happen in free agency that haven't happened yet.
Yeah, I think we've both been expecting Aaron Rodgers to be traded and to be able to talk about that shit, and that has not...
It just refuses to happen.
That just refuses to happen. It feels like a shit that you're sitting on the toilet trying to take.
You know it's coming. Yeah, you know it's coming, but it just refuses to come.
Yeah, it's just refusing to come out. It's like plugged up in there. Might need to get a little enema up in Green Bay to see if we can flush that sucker out.
I know, right? Jesus. I think that's what that second round pick that they tried to acquire was for.
I think so too. We'll talk about that in a bit, but
so it's gonna be one of those podcasts where we talk about some of the news, and then we got some fun little games that maybe we're gonna try out, see what happened, and then I still have a top 10 NHL thing that I'm going to do. So, and if we want to, we can discuss a little bit about the trade dissection I did, because I did actually manage to finish that, and I've got the next one plotted. I just need to start the research for it. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I think it'll be interesting one way or the other. Fair enough. I mean, hey, we got plenty of ideas and thoughts. It's just going to be more about what order things get put out, and it's going to be interesting.
Little pieces of news, snippets here and there. I think the most interesting news stories that I can think of, first off, we did find out what Hartman said to set off Jordan Binnington. It's not like it was hard. After they went up 4-3, or when they tied it 3-3, he was like, "Hey, buddy, just hang in there and keep your chin up. It'll be all right. You'll get through this." Really being a patronizing dick. So when he scored the 4-3 goal, he goes, "Man, come on, you got this. You can do it, buddy." And Binnington apparently took exception to that.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny, to be fair.
Oh, it's hilarious, to be fair.
I think it's funny as fuck.
You know what? Now I'm going to ask a question. This isn't really 100% news, but I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
When I say in hockey the word shithousery, what player comes to mind?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't got one.
I do. And I'm surprised it didn't come to your head.
I remember I don't have a lot of hockey remembrance.
Yeah, but you hate the team he plays for.
Yeah, there's a difference between...
There's a difference between hating a team...
I'm good with faces. I'm terrible with names.
Okay.
Does that help?
Brad Marchand.
Okay, the name's familiar.
Yeah. If I could, I'd put in a photo here for bleep. This is Brad Marchand. You could probably look him up if you wanted to. You're not recording. I am.
No.
But he's been fined, suspended, all kinds of things. But the thing that I will say about Brad Marchand, because it was brought up, and I can't help but agree, which is there's two different kinds of...
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah, that guy. There's two different kinds of...
He kind of looks like a douche.
There's two different kinds of shithousery. There's... "Oh, you fucking rascal." And there's...
True.
"You're a fucking asshole. I want to fucking kill you."
Like, so the rascals are just kind of fun. That's
Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand, whenever he does shit, it's not personal, and he's always got a big-ass goofball smile on his face.
I was going to say,
he's looks like a dick. He's an absolute dick. But
I'm not going to lie, the minute that I saw his face, he just looks... He's got that long face that makes me think of like the classic curly Q mustache, like bad guy
You know
villain.
what one of his nicknames is? The Rat.
The he kind of has that look to him. And the thing is, he obviously plays into it, which I think is
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
He doesn't turn it into an asshole thing, which is good.
No, he does turn
Um,
it into an asshole thing, and
well,
sometimes he
can,
takes shit
but
too far. But it doesn't matter.
yeah,
He's out to have fucking
but like
fun.
in a fun way. Like that's what I mean. I don't mean like in a dick way. I mean in a
Yeah,
fun
and
way,
then
right?
there's guys that just Tom Wilson. They take it too far. They're serious about everything. It's not funny. They're
Yep.
generally nuisance dicks. Um, who's the other one that's right now that's fucking getting all the goddamned hate? He speared someone in the balls.
Hi.
Don't ask me, but he did it.
The thing is, I feel like I remember hearing about that
Yeah,
too.
I absolutely remember hearing that. And it was against the Lightning, and it was against one of their guys who's been known to be a bit dirty. And he fucking speared him into balls, and then the Lightning dogpiled him and beat his ass. I don't remember
Fair
who it was.
response.
I just remember it happening. And I remember him
Fair
saying
response,
some
though.
shit about it afterwards, but you're just like, dude, you're an ass. Stop. Yeah, the guy you did it to is also an ass, but come on, man.
Doesn't make you look any better.
No. And so, to us, Bennington, a lot of the time, Bennington is like Marchand. He's always instigating and talking and chirping and being kind of a lovable rascal dick. But it's very easy, because he hasn't learned how to control it yet, it's very easy to push his buttons and allow him and just watch him go. And just you can see the steam start pouring out of his ears, and that's when he's going to cross over into the other side of it. So, that's kind of what I'm probably going to say about that for a moment. And there have been players who Nazem Kadri, who were true people that you hated, that just got a lot of penalties, got a lot of fines, got a lot of problems, and then as their game matured and as they got older, they crossed over, they learned how to control it, and now they're rascal dicks. They're the guys who can shithouse and have some fun, but they're not doing it in a way that's mean. They're just being idiots. They're having fun with other people, and everybody's in on the joke.
Right.
They're being trolls.
Yeah, right.
And you know they're being trolls, and they're probably going to get fined for it, and they know it, and they don't give a shit. No.
Because to them, like, the fines that they typically get are so minuscule that they mean nothing to the amount of salaries that they end up getting paid.
Well, and they
For
don't
most
get
of
as
them.
much as we think they do, but yes,
But for most of them, it's not that bad.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. However, they are. There is some. There are rumblings coming from the bigger players now about the fact that Bettman doesn't want to change the playoff format and go to a true 1-8. So as it stands, my understanding of it, and if somebody wants to correct me, please do so. You have the top 3 in each division. Okay? And 2 wild cards. So, the top 2 teams, the ones in each division, whoever has the better record or the more points, faces the lowest wild card team. So the 8 seed. The 8 seed. The other one will face the 7 seeds, the second wild card team. Then the 2 and 3 in each division play each other. But that doesn't make any sense. It's not like 2-on-2 and 3-on-3. It's the 2 and 3 in each division. So it's really a weird format, and I'm not sure I 100% like it. I would prefer just seed each conference 1-8.
I mean,
and even if you want to send 3 from each division, right? Or a conference, or however they put it. Even if you want to do that, still seed them 1-8. Don't have the 2 and 3 in the West in the Central Division of the Western Conference. There we go. The 2 and 3 in the Central Division. So I don't want to see the Avs play the Stars or the Avs play the Wild in the first fucking round. I want that to be a second round matchup. You know.
Well,
so take the Western, take the 3 from the Central, take the 3 from the West, or whatever, Pacific, and the 2 wild cards, and then your 2 wild cards are your lowest teams, and then take the other 6 and seed them 1-6, and then do your matchups.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one, to be honest.
But some of the players would think that
because like I can understand the reasoning for why they haven't set up the way they have it. I just don't think. The thing is, the reason why I was zoning out is because I was trying to find a way to do how they have it now, but seed it in a way that makes more sense. And there probably is. There's probably a way to make more sense than how they're doing it now. It's just my brain is too short-circuited at the moment for me to do that at the moment. However, I think I can understand how they have it set up now. I think there's a way to do it that makes more sense than how they have it set up. However, at the same time, is it necessary? Can they just seed it just straight up through a 1 through 8? Yeah, they probably could. I can understand why they don't, because...
Well, the other problem is, and this is what the players are complaining about, is that you're getting 2 really, really, really powerful and good teams in the first round, and it's causing the round to go longer, so you're having to play more games, which is harder on the players' bodies.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I was trying to figure out if there was a way to seed it better in my brain, because it would make more sense to have, like... The problem is I feel like no matter what you do, you're going to have 2 fairly even matched teams that are going to end up playing against each other.
But that's inevitable. That's the way things are always going to happen.
So I feel like no matter how you do it, that's going to happen. But
but you're not going to have a whole bunch of them that are fairly evenly matched. And
I was going to say, obviously, like your best case scenario is you have 1 fighting 8, 2 fighting 7, 3 fighting, but
that would be fair. And then 4 and 5 are in the middle, and they're going to be pretty evenly matched.
Yeah.
But the way that I have it set up is, since they would be from both divisions in the conference, you might get people, they're your conference people, but they're not divisional rivals, so you may not be as familiar with them as you would be a divisional rival. Does that make sense?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
So, like, the Wild play, let's say the Oilers. We know the Oilers, but we don't play them as often as we do the Avalanche or the Predators.
Right.
We know the Golden Knights, but we don't see them as often as we see the Blackhawks. Not that the Blackhawks are going to be in the playoffs, but...
No, but I know what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the idea, is you would get you could have different combinations of stuff that you don't see all the time, simply because that would make things better. And for example, like right now, where are they? They're probably... I have to fucking look, because I don't remember where they're at in their actual... Like, if we were going to do a 1-8. Mother... Floopity floppity flippity floop. You like that one?
What?
Floopity floppity flippity floop.
I just love it.
That's fantastic, isn't it? So if I was to arrange this by conference, the top 2 teams in the Metro are Carolina and New Jersey, and they're followed off by the Rangers right now. Over in the Atlantic Division, whatever they're calling it now, it's Boston, Toronto, and Tampa. So right now, you would have the Lightning and the Maple Leafs. But if you were to seed it, where obviously those are the top 6 teams, and then you have the Islanders and the Penguins as your 2 wildcard teams. Boston would face Pittsburgh. Carolina would currently face the Islanders. New Jersey would face Tampa. And the New York Rangers would play the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you look at it from the period of 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, no, that works perfectly. And then if you look at it in like the Western Conference, right now the top teams are Vegas, LA, Minnesota, Dallas, Edmonton, and Colorado, with the two wild cards being Seattle and Winnipeg. So Vegas would face Winnipeg. The Kings would face the Kraken. They're in the same division, so that would be interesting. Minnesota would still face Colorado, and Dallas would play Edmonton. Those would be your first round matchups if we did it the way that I was talking about.
Fair enough.
And that would be a very fair system, I think. I don't think that's how they're going to end up. Minnesota's only got a 1-point lead on Dallas currently, and they're 3 points ahead of the Avalanche. So that'll be, if nothing else, interesting. Outside of that, one piece of very interesting NFL news that has come out that I think needs to be talked about, that I think is funny, and I kind of enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The NFL.
I'm sorry, my brain.
I can tell.
I was listening, but go on.
The NFL has had to send out a memo that you are not to negotiate with people who are not accredited agents by the NFLPA. Can you guess who that's in reference to?
Jeez, I could only assume who that could be a reference to.
Well, it's not that you shouldn't negotiate with the player. That was what they specifically said. If you're going to negotiate with Lamar, you have to call and negotiate with Lamar. Do not negotiate with somebody calling you on his behalf, saying that they're negotiating for him.
Yeah. That's why I thought it was funny.
Unless he officially hires an agent accredited by the NFLPA.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was something that happened, which I found funny.
Kind of humorous.
Yeah, it was kind of humorous. I kind of laughed at that. I don't know what else to say about that, but I kind of went, wow, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but all right, fair enough.
Oh, should we talk about Cam Newton?
Nah, I mean, you can. I just don't care enough.
Well, I mean, he worked out at the Auburn Pro Day.
He did. Yeah.
And I believe the quote was, how do some of these scrubs have jobs? Ain't 32 motherfuckers better than me?
I know for sure the last part was true. I don't remember the beginning, but definitely the end was right.
Yeah.
Which, I hate to tell you, Cam, the answer is, yeah, they all are.
Well, not necessarily.
Tell me one QB that he could start over right now.
Davis Mills.
No.
Yes.
I would take Davis Mills over Cam Newton. That's because Davis Mills is younger and can still develop. Cam Newton's he's on his way down, in fact.
Oh, God. Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson isn't starting, so I don't count that. That's why I said count.
Well, the
Jets
starting. Don't really have a starter.
No, but they're going to get Aaron Rodgers. We can already assume that. I mean, yes, if they don't get Rodgers, if the Jets don't end up getting Aaron Rodgers, then yes, they could end up going with a Cam Newton, because Cam Newton would be better than Zach Wilson and any of their backups, that's for sure. But the Jets also could easily then just take somebody in the draft because they're not that far away.
No, you're 100% right.
So
there weren't that many teams that I came up with, depending on Matt Stafford's situation.
Maybe, but it sounds like he's going to start from everything.
Yeah, and then depending on whether or not Jordan Love tanks and bombs.
Yeah, but if you tank some bombs, then they're just going to get a high draft pick for next year.
Exactly, and
we've already been told that there's some generational talent apparently there. So.
Well, and to be honest, I think he's probably maybe better than Kyler Murray, but Kyler Murray's younger, and if Kyler were to pull his head out of
similar play. Again, so it's the same problem with me and Davis Mills, right? Kyler Murray is younger. I think Kyler Murray's got more talent, and I think Kyler, at this point in time, anyways, he's younger.
Yeah,
He can produce
there
more.
are some teams that I feel
he
like
still has growth potential.
Yeah,
Cam
and
just doesn't anymore.
there are some teams where I feel like he could potentially fit, but either they're trying to figure out whether their young gun is a good quarterback. They have a high-ass draft pick, and they're going to draft their quarterback of the future, or they just dropped significant money on another quarterback, and they're not taking him. The big ones for me were before they got him: New Orleans,
right? Sorry.
New Orleans and Vegas before they got Garoppolo and Carr.
Here's
you probably could have fit there.
Here's the other thing I'm just gonna say, and I think it makes my point as far as I'm gonna take it. Cam, you got replaced by Mac Jones. Mac Jones.
Well, he'll say, "Well, yeah, but I was hurt and blah 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 blah." Whatever, dude.
Doesn't matter.
Here's the other thing. The only other
problem
team.
is like there's no. I was gonna say there's no team that I can think of that has a worse QB than Mac Jones that needs one.
Well,
that isn't already poised to get a new one, or already has purchased a new one.
There's one, but I think they've already got a candidate that they could use in house if the guy that they're thinking of doesn't work out, and that would be his former head coach's team in Washington. Because he played for Ron Rivera.
Oh, yeah.
They've got Sam Howell, and they've got Jacoby Brissett. And if for some reason Howell flops, I think Brissett could do at least as well as you could.
Yeah, he'll do well enough to at least salvage a season to potentially get you a good draft pick for the year after.
So, and I don't know what the...
And Rivera, like, I think that relationship was soured before because I think he got traded when Rivera was there already, so he won't bring him back.
I don't know what the relationship between Cam and Ron is.
I don't think it's good enough.
And the only other team I was thinking of, depending on the status of the starters, the Niners, but they just brought in another guy for that. And the Rams, depending on...
And it sounds like one of them's gonna be ready by then too.
Yeah,
sounds like.
And the Rams, depending on everything with Stafford.
Which, with the fact that they were willing to let Baker walk and go to Tampa, makes me suspicious. And from everything I've heard, it sounds like Stafford's pretty much going to be ready to go. Like he's almost.
Well,
he's going to be ready by training camp. Is everything I've heard.
Trade him? What are they going to get? What's it going to look like? Are they going to go into a full tank mode?
They're not going to trade Stafford. They're going to keep him around. I think.
I would guess that's what's going to happen.
I think they're just going to play out his contract. I think they're just trying to do this competitive rebuild, but they're doing it from such a low point.
Yeah, I agree.
The thing is, they still have good enough players, and they're doing the same thing that the Vikings are, but just in a worse situation. Because they still, think about it, they still have Aaron Donald, they still have Stafford, they still have Cooper Kupp, they still have some good pieces.
Van Johnson or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Van Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, and
they have good pieces.
Really good for them when Kupp went out.
Yeah.
So you've got enough good pieces. You could use a running back probably, but
or is that Van Jefferson?
Van Jefferson. Yes, Van Jefferson. Yeah. Thank you. I wanted to say Van Morrison, but that's a fucking rock star. So, no.
But yeah, no, they have good pieces. They don't have as good of pieces as they once did. Like they obviously had to move off of Jalen Ramsey and
they moved off of Ramsey and they moved off.
They don't
of,
have very many
the
running backs. Yeah, and their running back situation is interesting.
Oh, let's talk about that real quick too. Bobby Wagner. Bobby is going back to the 12th man in Seattle.
Kind of funny.
I find that funny. They let him go because he had a shitty year, and then he had a decent year, and the Rams aren't going to be able to afford him anymore. The Seahawks went, "Hey, welcome back. It's good to see you healthy again."
Yeah, exactly. We'll take you back. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man, how's it going? We missed you.
We never wanted to get rid of you.
So that being said, let's go ahead real quick then and talk about what the Jets did recently. So the Jets went ahead and traded Elijah Moore for a second round and Elijah Moore and like a fourth? Was it a third or a fourth?
I think it was a third.
Yeah. They traded Elijah Moore and a third-round pick. And they got back a second in return. I don't remember who they traded him to now.
Browns.
It was the Browns. Yes, you were correct. The Browns. Brownies. So the Brownies got Elijah Moore, and they paid a second-round pick for him. They also got a third-round pick back as part of that deal. So Chris and I were speculating that it's been stated that the Jets are determined and do not want to give up the 13th overall pick that they have in the draft this year as compensation for Rodgers. So maybe they've got these 2 seconds that they're going to try to package instead of dealing with Rodgers. And there's a lot of stuff around that. So I think we need to talk about some of it. First off, there's a lot of people saying that the Jets need to call the Packers bluff. The Packers have no intention of playing Rodgers. So are you going to eat $60 million?
Well, so here's where I'm at. Okay, here's where I'm at. There's a lot of information that's coming out as far as what's being said for compensation. We don't know what the truth is. A lot of the information we're getting might not be accurate, or there might be things that are being missaid, or things that are being... So you gotta remember, there's that whole telephone game, right? When you have information that passes through enough people, all of a sudden...
It changes.
Things can it changes, exactly. It can get exaggerated. So... I've been hearing people say that the Jets are offering too little. I've been hearing people say that their compensation is too far away from what the Packers want. I've been hearing people say that it's the Jets holding things up. I've been hearing things that the Packers are holding things up. I've been hearing people say that the Packers want 2 firsts. I've been hearing people say that no, all they're asking is for 1 first and 2 seconds. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's just too much information out there. In reality, here's where I'm at as far as what's going to happen. Is the Jets are not going to give up a first. They don't want to give up a first. And if they do, it'll be a future first. It won't be this first. And they're going to use their 2 seconds to probably move for Rodgers. And I think what's happening is that the reason why we haven't gotten a deal yet is because Green Bay is stamping their feet. It's going, we want your first this year. The Jets are going, no, we're not giving you our first this year. And ultimately, the Jets are in a power position because the Jets ultimately know that the Packers are done with Rodgers. They have made it clear that they're pretty much done with Rodgers, and Goody publicly stated that the only reason he'll be on the team next year is if things don't work out the way they want them to. So the Jets know that the Packers don't want Rodgers anymore. Why
100%.
would they give up their first this year? So what's going to happen is that this is actually going to end up being the long game. We might not hear about this trade happening until towards the draft, when the Packers finally relent and realize that they're not going to get what they want.
Might even happen at the draft.
It could. I think it's ultimately going to come down to the fact that I think the Packers think that they can get more than they can for him, because the Jets know that they want to move him, and the Packers, frankly, aren't going to want to eat him sitting on the bench.
Yep, 100%. That's why I said there's been a statement said that they need to call the bluff of the Packers and say, all right, well, then we're going to move on. You're not going to want to eat his salary, but we're just going to move on and find our plan B. Have a nice day.
Yeah, because the thing is, they could easily, if they really want to spice things up,
they could make a play for Lamar.
I was going to say, publicly put out that you're making a play for Lamar. Just give him a call. Literally just give him a call and publicly release it to a journalist that you gave Lamar a call, and that's all it's going to take. It's just going to take a call just to go, hey, Lamar, how's it going? We're just calling just to say hi.
Now.
But all you have to do is tell a journalist that, hey, we as an organization have called Lamar Jackson.
We're just
now
doing
that
our
gets
due
released.
Diligence.
Now, no, they don't even have to say that. They just have to tell the journalist that, hey, we called Lamar. That's all it's going to take for that to spread like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it's going to take for the fire underneath Green Bay to go, oh.
So here's the thought that I think it was Dan Orlovsky on the who was a former NFL player, who is now a journalist and an insider, sort of. And he was on the Pat McAfee show, and I happened to catch this bit. And he said something to the effect of, how did he put it? Oh, nobody wants to be the GM that signs that big old clunking deal.
No one wants to.
And
no one wants to because literally, didn't he literally say that the Deshaun Watson deal is what ruined QB deals for pretty much every other GM?
They're considering the Deshaun Watson deal an outlier. And so the concept now becomes, but where did we get the number that says that he wants $200 million or whatever it is, right? What if it's more like he wants $170 million with incentives that could push it to $300 million?
Yeah, it's like, well, then how do you? Yeah, exactly.
That would be more fair. And there's been a lot of terms that have suddenly come out that have been partially guaranteed money or incentive guarantees, and it's like some of the terms they're using are not actual real terms. So I think the journalists are way too in on this, and they're coming down on either black or white. It's either collusion or Lamar is hurt too much and therefore not worth that much money. So it's either pay him or don't pay him, and there is no, like, you're not hearing the middle ground. People are especially journalists, are gravitating to either side full on rather than trying to find the murky path in the middle, because the two edges are easier. They polarize people and they get views. I don't want to be that kind of person. So my viewpoint is just going to be put out that I think that Lamar is looking for something reasonable, but I do think he wants a rather large deal. And I do think he wants incentives that would push him up into the range of what Deshaun makes, but I don't think he wants that as a fully guaranteed base. I do think he wants a large guarantee, but I think that he's willing to gamble on himself.
So here's what I'm gonna say on it, and this is ultimately where I'll leave it, is that I think he's asking for a good chunk of guaranteed money. He doesn't necessarily want to make $200 million guaranteed, but he definitely wants the ability to make more than $200 million guaranteed.
I agree.
The ability to make more than $200 million, but he obviously wants a high guarantee amount, probably like you were saying, in the 150 plus. Yeah, I would say 150 plus easy at least. Like, that's just to be as an easy ballpark for myself. Which, I'm going to be completely honest, I can understand the GM's hesitation just from the perspective of, you have dealt with injuries, you've had some good seasons, but then you've also seemed to always end up with some injuries, and then you had this last season where you made playoffs, and you could have made a good run, and you had a team that could do it, and you sat out for like the last, 6 games? Or something like that? Like, I can understand a GM's hesitation because you have the MVP talent caliber that does say he's worth that 150 plus million guaranteed money salary, right? You have the talent and you have the dedication there, because when he does play, you can tell he knows what he's doing. He's obviously studying the playbook. He doesn't have an issue there. He gets along with his teammates. Everybody loves him in the locker room. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, he's got all the talent, dedication, and charisma and leadership that says, yes, he's worth that 150 plus. But then you have the injuries and concerns about that, and then you remember RG3, and you start remembering some other people in the past that have been just like that, and you go, do I want it? Is that worth it to me? And the problem is, you have to be in a position where you're desperate enough to make that call.
Here's the other
thing. And the problem is, I don't think there's a lot of GMs right now in that position that are willing to make that call.
Here's the other thing that I want to point out, because it's something that did get brought up.
Like, I've heard rumors of Minnesota doing it, and I think that'd be an interesting decision to make.
I do
I'd be
I would
into
be
it.
totally into that, especially if that meant getting rid of Cousins.
Kirk, yeah.
They'd probably have to get rid of Cousins for that.
They would have to at that point, yeah. I would love the idea of that, but I just at the same time don't think that Adolfo Mensa is in a position where he feels like he's desperate enough to make that
and here's the thing. I don't know
risky. Like, right, it's risk versus reward. That's all it is. It's risk versus reward.
Yeah, but here's what I want to kind of point out, and this is something I've been trying
to. And all I was saying is that I'm defending that I can understand GM's hesitation for that risk versus reward. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah,
so I can understand it.
I do, but I think you're missing a piece, in my opinion. You haven't underestimated or overestimated anything. I think you've hit the nail on the head about risk versus reward, but how good has their line been lately? Do you know that guy has taken over 1,000 hits?
Oh yeah,
for that organization. So maybe you put him behind a line where running is optional and his arm is his first go-to, and you don't have him take 1,000 fucking hits, and then all of a sudden you have a dude who can still be the MVP, but now he doesn't have to
we don't know that
team.
Though. So here's the thing.
No, you're right. We don't. But I would
as a
gamble
GM,
that would
still you're taking that risk of. Does he use that mobility so much so that it doesn't matter if you give him a good enough line because he wants to use that mobility as part of his game? If he wants to use that mobility as part of his game, it doesn't matter if you give him a good line or not. He's still going to get hit.
Yes, but he'll get hit less because if you have a good line that protects him when he doesn't want to use that mobility, which I think changes the equation.
I agree. He will take less hits, but he will still take hits. I mean, the best example, look at the Eagles, right? Obviously, you have a QB who likes to throw it and can run it, and he's got a pretty decent O-line, but he still loves to run, and he still gets hit. And he obviously took some hits that actually had him out of games for a couple weeks.
Chicago. They hit at Chicago. Hurt his arm,
Yeah. So my point is that even if you give them a good O-line, that there's still a chance they still get injured because they still like to move around a lot.
If you want to use that particular hold on. If you
I'm not saying that is a easy one-to-one distinction because it's not. I'm just saying that there is GMs out there who are going to look at his past history and they're going to look at everything and they're just going to go, if I pay him this much money and in the first year he gets injured, I'm fired.
Okay. That's
what I'm saying, right?
Here's what I'm going to say. If you're going to look at it that way, you're being a little silly. And I'm going to say this not to you, but to the GMs. You're being silly. Because guys who don't run the ball, quarterbacks who don't run and do that, got fucking hammered this year too. Like fucking
some do, yeah.
Fucking Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy. Do I need to really continue onward with some of this? There were guys who
that's why I said some do.
Stafford. Come on,
yeah.
guys. There are guys who don't. Tua's not really a runner.
He moves around. He
moves around, but he doesn't take off a whole lot. He's not necessarily a traditional pocket passer.
That was more of a case of bad O-line more than anything.
You get what I'm saying is.
But in the same argument, for a lot of GMs, more catastrophic injuries tend to happen to QBs that are more mobile than the ones that aren't. Again, tend to.
Joe Theismann.
I said tend to.
Alex Smith.
Yes. Again, I can keep also naming ones that are runners that were more injured too. Look at running backs. Before we had mobile QBs,
you're 100% right about running backs. But that's because for a long time, running backs, the in trend for running backs was not Barry Sanders. It was It was Eddie George.
Yeah.
It was dudes who made their own holes. So and that kind of a pounding.
But I just mean
gross. That kind of.
I just mean in general,
taking that kind of abuse to the body on a daily basis, or even a once a week basis for several years, it'll slow you down. I think that's speaking of which.
All I'm saying is that there's a reason why the NFL is trying to reduce contact on QBs. Is to make them last longer in the NFL. And QBs that are running it who become more targetable are going to be more likely to not last as long in the NFL as ones that can prevent taking hits. So, ones that typically take less runs or ones that take safe runs, because there is a distinction
There
there.
is.
Um, you know, I'll say this. Great examples that come to mind. Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen. Joe Burrow will run the ball, but he does it when he thinks there's a safe avenue. Josh Allen's a big fucking dude who thinks he can just run people over and will go for the hard contact. And now, when you look at the comparison of the two, when I see those two, the way they move and the way they run, Joe Burrow will last longer in the NFL because he does safer runs, versus Josh Allen will eventually hurt himself doing what he does.
You know another guy that I think runs fairly safely from what I've seen? Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, yeah.
Give yourself up when you're going to take that contact. Give yourself up. It's okay.
Or based upon how we even started this conversation, Cam Newton. He was like a Josh Allen. No, he was a Josh Allen. He liked to take hits.
You're right. Well, he was a big motherfucker too. Yeah, but
yes,
I get where you're coming from.
That's why his NFL career is already at the point where people are going, is he even a starter anymore?
I'm going to say a guy that a lot of people aren't going to like, but I think he was a decent runner and he was a safe-ish runner. I think he learned to be a safe runner, and that's Michael Vick.
Vick eventually became a safe runner.
Yes. His first couple of seasons, he was not. No. And then he learned how to run safe. So I think if somebody could teach Lamar how to safely run, I think he could be a huge asset. Because he's very fast. He's got good twitch. He gets out of the pocket very quickly. And that option run
and I think that happens. And to be fair, I think most young QBs run into that, because I mean, if you think about all the young QBs right now in the league that are movers in the pocket, like Justin Fields, or even the I forget the guy that's from the Eagles. I always forget his name. Jalen Hurts. Right? That they all of them, because they're younger, think that they can take hits, so they will take riskier options. Joe Burrow is a weird example, because Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow. I mean, he just protects himself because he's thinking long term, like Tom Brady does, right? But if you can move as mobile as you can, and you think you have the strength and the ability to run through somebody, of course you're going to. You're going to try. You think you can.
Well, let's also say, and this is just me coming from a different side point, I don't think that's a uniquely football thing. I think that's just a young man. No, it's not. It's a young man thing. In the Army, when I was in the Army, we always used to say you could tell the guys who were fresh new guys because they think they're bulletproof. So whenever you're on the road and you see a dude doing 120 in a sports car, my guess 90% of the time is that dude's probably under 30 years old. And he still thinks, I've been to war, I'm fucking bulletproof. You're not, and you're going to get yourself hurt one day. And when it happens, you just hope you survive it so that you learn from it. And that's, I think, what happens eventually to some of these risk-taking QBs is they get catastrophically hurt, and then you just hope you can come back and all right, I have to be smarter. But you don't think you have to be smarter until it's too late. There are some people that develop that mentality early, and I think Burrow is one of the people who's developing that mentality very young.
Tom Brady.
Tom
Brady never took a lot of hits.
He was always never a runner, and if you wanted to go that route, I mean in the perspective, they changed the rules.
Hold. What I mean for Tom is that he learned to avoid hits from sacks by actually checking down the ball. He'd either check down or he would purposely throw out the ball. So what I meant is that not from a runner perspective, but from the perspective of the idea of a QB of not taking hits. He
not
knew
trying
what
to hang
to
in
do
there
to
and make the big throw and just realizing that, hey, let's toss it away. We'll have another play.
He would willingly toss away a play within a second if he thought it was collapsing too quick on him.
Yep, and just, hey, we'll have another play. Let's get it next time.
It's not worth it.
Yep,
not worth taking a hit.
Not worth it on my body.
Exactly.
So probably why he played so long. And I could also say Joe Montana was kind of that same mold.
Montana was more mobile, but yeah.
Montana was a little more mobile. Also,
Montana's more like Burrow in that aspect.
You're gonna laugh at this. A guy who was mobile and became a pocket kind of a guy by the end of his career, John Elway.
That's true.
John Elway started as a scrambling quarterback when he was much younger, and by the end of his career, when he finally won his Super Bowls, dude was more of a pocket guy. He could still shift around and move a little bit, but he wasn't taking off like he did when he was younger and ran the.
You know what's weird? Peyton Manning kind of did the opposite, though, because when he was on the Colts, he would sit in the pocket for days, but when he had to go to the Broncos and had a worse line, that guy could actually move around the pocket when he had to.
Yeah, that's kind of the opposite direction, and it was funny. Now, the guy that I miss, if we're going to talk about mobile quarterbacks, that I don't think gets talked about enough, but he has the best fucking nickname in sports, in my opinion. Well, actually, he shares his nickname with another guy. But it is still a great one. It's Jake Plummer. They called him the Snake.
The Snake, nice.
And Jake the Snake Plummer. But, there was Kenny the Snake Stabler from way back. That's well before both of our times.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, so that's all highly interesting news. Outside of that, I
feel like we just went on a big side tangent there for a while.
We really did, but who gives a shit at this point?
Like I said, we just don't know where this podcast was going to go.
No, honestly, we have no fucking clue where it's going. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
All I'm going to say is
Eagles.
Somebody should sign Lamar. He deserves to get signed.
Oh, 100%.
I think that's where that conversation was going.
Yes, that's where we're going with that. Yeah. Eagles extend Lane Johnson. So Lane Johnson is going to be on the Eagles for quite some period of time. I think that's a smart move by them. I think they really kind of knew what was going on. DJ Chark to the Panthers. Again, I think that's smart considering that they also took Adam Thielen off the market. I don't think we talked about that last time. I think some of that happened like literally right after we stopped recording. I think Adam Thielen signed.
I think it was like next day.
I think it was hours after we stopped recording.
Was it hours? I thought it was next day.
Might have been. Yeah. But the point of all of it is, I do believe 110% that Adam Thielen, he went to the Panthers, and I think it's really good for them because we were talking about the Panthers needing pass catching.
It's good for them. It's good for Thielen because he's going to get paid, from the sound of it, a good amount of money. And secondly, I've heard other pundits talk about this, and it's something that I said right away to you when I heard about it, and you didn't express agreement in it, but that's fine. Which is, he's chasing a ring. They're ready to go. They get their QB, and they have not this year, but you give year 2, year 3, they're good to go. And that's what he's doing. He's signing a 3-year contract, knowing that this first year he's going to build up that repertoire with his QB, and year 2 and 3 is going to be go time. And he believes wholeheartedly that the Panthers will be ready to go. And that's why he signed with the Panthers, is because he believes that they're set up for success in the future.
100%.
Which makes sense.
Also, Dalton Schultz, one of the I think he was the Cowboys tight end last year, is now signing with the Houston Texans.
Yep.
And who was it?
Not moving too far for that guy.
No, but I think it's a great thing. Oh, and not talked about as part of the Moore deal, the Jets then went out and signed Mecole Hardman.
Yep, Hardman. Yep.
Who that makes a lot of sense. So very happy for that. Where did you?
Great speed, got to work on his hands.
Because you put up one more. The Panthers linebacker. Not the Panthers, the Patriots.
Oh, the one that retired?
Yes. Was it Foreman?
No, Hightower.
Dante
Hightower.
Hightower retired.
He finally retired.
Yep.
He was in our redraft, remember?
He was in our redraft. So there's
another
one
kind of
guy.
coincidence
Levante
there.
David was there, and Harrison Smith was there, and there's a couple actually that I would love to do redrafts on, but it's because I looked at them and I went, "Holy fuck! You know
How
the
are
one
you
I
still
really want to
here?
do with you? 2016.
2016. Oh, okay.
Do you remember who the Vikings took in 2016?
Off the top of my head, no.
He was a wide receiver.
Oh, was it Diggs?
Nope.
No, not in 2016. Trying to remember which wide receiver it would have been. Would that one have been?
I'll just tell you, I don't even think he's in the league anymore.
Was that one Harvin?
Nope.
I think Harvin was before that.
Harvin was well before that.
Yeah.
Do you want me to give you
That's
what
why I'm
college
like,
he
that's
comes
why I
from?
think 2016. I don't think the college is gonna help. I didn't start following college football until after that point.
They took him
So
23rd overall. Laquan Treadwell.
Oh, Treadwell.
They
God
wanted
damn.
Josh Doctson, but he went one pick ahead of that. Now, you want to know what the really sad part is?
That wouldn't have been much better, anyways.
No, it wouldn't have been. However, there was a guy who was available who would have been a lot better. He was taken 165th
Jesus.
overall by Kansas City.
2016.
He no longer plays for Kansas City
Well, no, I figured not.
because he got traded.
Yeah, but that timing doesn't seem right if it's who I think it is.
It's
So,
absolutely who you think it is.
That's why I'm saying the timing doesn't sound right unless he sat on the team for that long before he actually started becoming famous.
Pretty much.
Huh.
Because they didn't have a quarterback at that point. You want to know who their quarterback was at that point in time?
Was it Alex Smith at that point?
It was Alex Smith at that point in time.
Well, Smith has a pretty good arm.
So Hill didn't become a super big name until they started having Mahomes throw to him. Because Mahomes had that cannon arm. But yes, at that point in time, 165th overall, they had Tyreek Hill.
The thing is, the problem is it's the same problem with if you look at Mahomes. It's like if you look at it now, it's like, yeah, but look how long they had to sit those players before they even saw the field, really.
Here's the fun part. There were a bunch of quarterbacks taken. Do you know the one that actually might have been the best overall was not taken until the 4th round? Well,
is he still playing?
There's actually one other guy that you could throw up there.
Still
there's
playing?
only one of these backs, only one of the quarterbacks taken that has a Pro Bowl under their belt is still with the team that drafted them from 2016.
Still with the team.
Mm-hmm.
In 2016.
Drafted 135th overall in the 4th round supplemental. Played for Mississippi State. He was also the NFL.
That's not Dak, is it?
That's Dak.
It is Dak. Okay.
That is Dak.
I couldn't remember if that was the right year for that. Okay.
Yep, that was
when you
Dak.
said Mississippi, that gave it away for me because I remember he was
that
Mississippi.
was Dak. Can you name who the first overall player was in 2016? Because it was a quarterback. But he's not with the team that drafted him anymore.
In 2016?
2 quarterbacks were taken, 1 and 2. There's no way you'll get this. Because one of them doesn't even have a team anymore, and the other one is no longer with the team that drafted him.
In 2016, was that Mitchell Trubisky's year?
Nope.
That's got to be close to that, though.
I think that is close to that. Like, I'll tell you. One comes from California. Cal Berkeley, the Bears. And the other one is North Dakota State.
Wentz?
Wentz is 2. Who was 1 in that draft? I'm glad you got Wentz.
When you said to NDSU, I was like, there's only one other one that I could think of, which is Trey Lance, so obviously it's got to be Carson Wentz is the only other one that I knew of.
Yep.
So that's why I was confused, because I was like, 2016, really? I didn't think it was then, but okay.
Yep.
Then who would have taken gotten first over Carson Wentz? Because I actually now remember hearing about this, that Wentz went 2, ended up having a better career than the guy at 1. And then
for right
obviously
now, but
Wentz,
the guy at 1 is still playing.
That's true. Wait, is the guy at 1 still playing?
Absolutely.
The fuck? Is he still with the team? He's not with the team that drafted him.
No, he got traded. A couple of years ago. Big swap.
Big swap?
Change of scenery.
Stafford didn't get drafted in 16?
No. But the guy he got traded
Goff?
for. Yep, the guy he got traded for was.
Goff. Yeah, to be fair, you're not. Yeah, that actually does make sense because even though Carson Wentz has had a better career so far, Goff is still in the league and on a team that's actually doing well. So
Yes.
he could still end up with a better career at the end of his career. Because I think Wentz's career is pretty much done at this point, right? There's not going to be too many teams that are going to pick him up
And it's entirely possible that, Goff could win a Super Bowl for Detroit, who's never won a Super Bowl before.
He actually could, because if you look at how well he played last year, I mean...
And he took the Rams to a Super Bowl. He just didn't win it.
Yeah. And he's got a better O-line with the Lions, too. The Lions actually have a pretty good O-line. So
100%.
You give Goff just enough time to a little extra time to throw, and he's got an accurate ball. Mm-hmm. So... And you give him a good run game, I mean, it's clearly working over there. Dan Campbell's obviously what they needed, just a guy who's going to bite their kneecaps off.
There you go. But no, that's why I was like, by the way, in that draft, the first 7 picks are all Pro Bowlers.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah. I'll give them to you.
Fair enough.
Just because it's fun. Jared Goff first, Carson Wentz second, Joey Bosa third.
Okay.
Ezekiel Elliott 4.
Who knows where he's playing now?
Jalen Ramsey 5. Ronnie Staley 6.
Okay.
DeForest Buckner 7.
Fair enough.
They're
all pretty good names.
That is names. Not a horrible.
That was a good first round, apparently.
Yeah. Here's the funny part. Derrick Henry, 45.
Wow, that's surprising.
Michael Thomas, 47. James Bradbury, 62.
That's not that surprising.
Yeah. Javon Hargrave, 89. Yeah, you just look at some of these and you go, what the fuck were people thinking? Matthew Judon.
Oh.
Matthew Judon, that's a name you know.
Yeah, well, of course.
146.
The thing is, you got to remember that like nobody's draft grading is perfect. Especially when some players are coming from different colleges that are smaller colleges, but you also have to remember that there's possibility of players coming from a system that maybe they weren't as suited for. Maybe they were suited for a different system, and then they also blow up in the. And we've seen that happen countless times.
Yes,
especially QBs,
especially cornerbacks, DBs. Yeah, absolutely. They may be like. Look at UTSA, the guy just this last year, and then of course Pete Carroll loves to find guys like that, and he had what's his name for Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, 110%. But no, I think redoing the 2016 draft would be fun if nothing else. That's one I'd want to do, and. I want to say it was the other one that I really want to redo. I want to go back 1 year from the one we just did.
We just did the 2013?
2012.
2012, okay.
Was it 12 or did we do 13?
I don't know. I thought it was 13 because it was like a 10-year thing, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, we just did 2012.
Oh, we did. Okay.
I want to go back to 2011.
Okay.
You know why? Remember who the Vikings drafted in 2011? 12th overall?
Wasn't that the one where they drafted Ponder?
Yup.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we both discussed that before where we're like, yeah, we want to redraft that and not draft Ponder.
Yeah, because there's another guy that I think he's not great, but at least he's still playing football even to this day from that
Oh,
draft.
nice. Oh.
Can you guess who that is?
QB.
Yeah.
Still playing. Was Andy Dalton part of that year?
Yep, that's the guy. The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. You remember who
To be fair, I mean, Andy Dalton early on at the Bengals was plenty good. I mean, he took them to the playoffs a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Do you know who was first overall in that draft?
2011. Was it a QB or a running back?
It was a QB. And it's one we've just talked about.
And one we've just talked about.
Like today.
Well, I figure it was something we talked about today. 2011.
I'll give you a hint. The team that had the first overall pick that year was Carolina.
Oh, Cam Newton?
Yep.
Okay.
2011 is the Cam Newton draft.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I think that's an interesting draft to look at and redo. I'm not sure that first overall pick changes, to be honest, because he was really
he was really good when for several years. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And he got them close to a Super Bowl, I think.
He took them into a Super Bowl at least once.
Yeah, they didn't win, but I'm saying they got close. I think twice, right?
Yeah.
I think they got to 2 Super Bowls. I think one of them they almost.
I know they
won.
got to at least one, and Denver and Peyton Manning obliterated them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that.
Because wasn't there one year where they almost went like, I think they only lost like one game or something like that. There was like one year.
Something like that. I'd have to look, but no. Newton was really good for a number of years, and then he had one off season. He had like a motorcycle accident or a car wreck or something, and
I think it was
hurt himself, and then he was never really kind of got back after that.
Yeah. So. Hard to say if it was from that, though. We also know that he did take a lot of hard hits, too.
Yeah, but anyway.
Combination of their end.
Point is, that would be a fun one to redo with you. I think I'd like to do that at some point. I don't know when, but I'd like to. I think it would be
fun.
Fair enough. All right. I don't really have a lot of other news because we've kind of talked about a lot of stuff. But I want to play a game with you now. Would you like to play a game? Or what is the thing? I want to play a game. Is that how that's said?
I think it's want to play a game.
I want to play a game.
Or he's just like, want to play a game.
Yep, there you go. Okay, you sound like Stone Cold when you do it.
I'm not even gonna. I don't even know how to say about that.
Well, hell, son.
Oh, goddamn it, son.
All right, so here's the game we're going to play. I have a list of cities with professional sports teams. I know the answers. I'm going to quiz Chris, and I'm going to go city by city, and we're going to find out if Chris can tell me whether or not that city has a team. It doesn't matter what sport. I think this is only MLB, NFL, NHL, and NBA. Whether or not they have at least one sports championship to their name.
I also want to point out that this is going to go horribly.
It's going to be hilarious.
Don't
this is going to be hilarious.
Me to get. I just want to point out that if I get none of these right, don't be surprised.
The first city has 2 teams in it.
Okay.
It is the city of Buffalo, New York. Do they have a sports championship?
So we're talking, obviously, the Bills, which they don't. That I can remember, and I'm pretty sure they don't, if I remember. They had that big 4-year run. They never won one. What's the other team? The Buffalo, New York. That would be, I assume, a hockey team. I'm trying to remember who it would be.
I'll give you a clue. We talked about them in a hockey corner during this podcast.
Oh, I'm sure we did. It's probably no, I don't even know who it could be. And so now I have to debate on if they have a hockey team, or if they're not that if they have a hockey team. I have to debate if their hockey team has won one. The problem is I just don't have enough hockey knowledge to say yes or no without it being a complete guess in the dark. I'm going to say they do have at least one from their hockey team.
You are incorrect.
Fair
It
enough.
is the Buffalo Sabres.
The Sabres, that's right, yes. They've
And
come close a couple times just like their...
They did. They came
Yeah.
within a toe in the crease against Dallas of having a hockey championship. But they have not, and they've come within a field goal of winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But they have not yet accomplished
Okay.
the feat of having
Fair enough. Fair enough.
now, I will point out that their championship drought length is 116 seasons, or 57 years. Poor
Alrighty then.
Buffalo.
Poor Buffalo.
Minneapolis, Minnesota currently has 4 sports teams.
They do.
Do they have a championship?
Yes, they do.
Thank you.
Yes.
You should get that one right. By the way,
Yeah.
their drought length is 115 seasons, or 31 years.
Yeah, isn't the last one from the Twins? For when they
1991.
last won the pennant?
1991, yep. Minnesota Twins.
And then the
World
one
Series.
before that one would have been
The
North
Twins.
Stars. No, the Twins again, yeah.
Twins again.
And
And
then
then North Stars, I don't think ever won.
I don't think
a
they ever
Stanley
did
Cup.
one.
They
I think they got
played
I think
in
they
a Stanley Cup.
played a Stanley
and
Cup
got
twice, if I
trounced.
remember right.
At least once, and they got torched.
Yeah.
And then right after they moved to Dallas and became the Stars, they won a cup.
Fuck you.
Yeah, that's why I hate the Stars, by the way. But yes, by the way, I am working on, and I will maybe next show, hopefully, I will bring out my top 10 Minnesota sports moments.
Okay.
And see if you agree with some of these. You're not going to know
Fair enough.
all of them because some
No,
of them are
probably
going to
not.
have happened before you, but some of them you're definitely going to know. I'm going to tell you right now, somewhere on that list is the Minneapolis Miracle.
Well, of course.
Of course. Number 3, San Diego, California, currently has 1 professional sports team.
They do?
Yes.
San Diego, what is it? Like who what sports team do they have still?
Their nickname, without telling you the name of the team, is the Friars.
No, that doesn't help, unfortunately.
Well,
Jesus. Oh, wow. Okay. Have they ever won a championship? Well, I'm trying to think of all the teams that have ever come from San Diego. Unfortunately, they've had a couple, so I'm trying to think if San Diego has ever won any championships of any kind that I can think of. My memory says no, but I feel like there's probably a one at least yes at some point, so I'm going to say yes.
your initial guess was correct at no.
Oh. Yeah.
The only team that is currently there is the San Diego Padres. They currently only have the San Diego Padres. The only other team that I can remember
Padres.
having come from there is the San Diego Chargers.
Chargers. I feel like they've had others, but I could be wrong.
They have
Apparently the
gone.
bird.
San Diego has gone 114 seasons, or 57 years without a championship. They have, however, they have been in 2 World Series with the Padres.
Gotcha.
New York. Currently has 8 active sports
I mean,
teams.
we're gonna say yeah.
Yeah, obviously, because the New
The
York,
Yankees?
the Yankees have won it. The Giants have
The
won it.
Giants have won it.
Yeah. So the teams in New York are currently the Giants, the Islanders, the Jets,
Islanders, yeah.
the Knicks, the Mets, the
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets now, the New
That's
York
true, yeah.
Rangers, and the New York Yankees.
Yeah, like
They have, however, gone 87 seasons without a championship, or 11 years. The most recent
fuck
one was the Giants in 2011.
good. Fuck them.
Phoenix,
Goddamn Yankees.
Arizona currently has, well, technically has 4 active teams. Although one is probably moving.
I feel like the answer is yes. I don't remember why, but I'm just gonna say yes.
You are correct.
Is
The
it their
Arizona
basketball team?
Diamondbacks won
Okay.
the World Series in 2001
Was the Diamondbacks? Okay.
against the New York Yankees.
Ha. I thought it was their basketball team for a second,
No,
but I
Phoenix
couldn't remember.
is the Phoenix Suns
'Cause
have
it's the
gone
Phoenix
to
Suns, right?
a
Yeah.
lot of finals and
Yeah.
been in a lot of games, but they've never won the championship.
Yeah, for some reason I was originally thinking it was their basketball team, but
They
okay,
currently
fair
have the
enough.
Arizona Cardinals, the Arizona Coyotes that are probably moving to Scottsdale, I think.
Soon
Or the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Phoenix Suns.
in the Suns, yeah.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
How many teams do they have?
2.
Really? Because obviously I know of one, which is the Bengals, and I'm fairly positive, as far as I can remember, based on my shitty, terrible memory, that the Bengals have not won a Super Bowl. So I'm trying to think who the other team is. Cincinnati, is that? That's gotta be baseball, right? Is that right? That might not be right.
The team is named after a color. And they have the only player to ever be, well, one of the only players to ever be banned from the Hall of Fame played for that team.
Jeez.
For gambling.
Yeah, of course.
And he's pretty famous, so you should know him.
Probably would. I just, off the top of my head, is not coming to mind, at least at the moment. I'm trying to think of it, though.
They also had a father-son duo play for them.
That doesn't surprise me. Again, I feel like I've heard it. The thing is, the worst part is I'm pretty sure I've heard of the team, and the team is like I know the team. It's just not coming to mind. Like I've heard all of the facts you're spitting at me, and I'm just trying to remember and tie it back to the correct team in my brain, right? Like I know those facts get addressed to X team, and I'm trying to remember what X team is, and it's just not getting there. I'm going to say no. No.
You are incorrect.
Oh, man, see, I'm terrible at this.
And it's okay. It's the Cincinnati Reds.
The Reds, okay.
From the Major League Baseball, and they won a World Series in 1990, and that is the only championship they have had. They've gone 63 seasons or 32 years without one. By the way, for Phoenix, it's 83 seasons or 21 years.
Ah, gotcha.
Charlotte, North Carolina. 2 active sports franchises.
Ugh. 2 active sports franchises. Obviously, Carolina, we got the Panthers. Which, have they ever won a Super Bowl? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. What's the other team in Carolina? Isn't
It's
that
not the one you think. They're in a different city.
Charlotte, Carolina? It's not the hockey team?
Nope. I believe they're in Raleigh.
Okay. Okay, so it's not the hockey team. That's the one I was thinking of. Is it a...
Yeah, they're in Raleigh.
Okay. So not the hockey team.
It's an insect.
It's an insect.
Mm-hmm. The mascot is an insect. A stinging
Jesus.
insect.
Oh, is it the Hornets?
Yes. Good job.
Now, did the Hornets ever win a championship? Is my memory good enough to remember that?
They also weren't always the Hornets.
No, they weren't. They did have a name change that I do remember because that's on trivia, on one of our games that we play, one of our Trivia Pursuit games. That's a question actually. Now I couldn't remember what they were called before. I couldn't tell you, but
They
I
were
do
called the
remember that is.
Bobcats.
Yeah, the Bobcats. That's right. You know what? I'm gonna say yes for some reason. My brain's just telling me yes.
They have not.
Well, my brain's wrong. Fuck you,
Yeah.
brain.
No, the Hornets, even before they moved to become the Pelicans,
The Pelicans. That's right. Yes.
they became the Pelicans in New Orleans.
Yeah.
They were the New Orleans Hornets, and then became the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yep,
That would be after they traded away Chris Paul again.
Gotcha.
The Charlotte Bobcats had come into the league, and when New Orleans finally gave up the Hornets name, Charlotte took the name back. They have gone 60 seasons, or 34 years, without a championship. Vancouver, British Columbia. They have one active sports franchise. You should know who they are.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember how they won a championship.
That's the question.
My memory is so limited on that. Yes?
Incorrect. The Vancouver Canucks have never won the Stanley Cup.
Never won. Okay.
They have been 57 seasons or 52 years without a cup.
Jeepers.
The other reason that there are 57 seasons instead of 52 seasons is because for a very, very, very brief period of time, they had an NBA franchise known as the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Oh. Fair enough.
Detroit, Michigan. 4 active sports franchises.
Yeah, you got the Lions, we got the Pistons. What else do we got? Detroit Lions, Detroit Pistons. Those are the two that always come to mind for some reason. I know there's others, but those are the ones that come to mind. Have they ever won one? I feel like they have. I know it's not the Lions, obviously. I feel like it's...
You would be correct.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it their hockey team?
It absolutely was. It was the Detroit Red Wings in 2008 was their last one.
Okay.
In fact, the Red Wings have won a shitload of cups. I believe the Tigers, their baseball team, has been in World Series, but I don't think they've ever won one.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But the Pistons have also won the NBA title.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Nashville, Tennessee. 2 active sports franchises.
Yeah, we got the Tennessee Titans, and then there's is it the oh gosh. I know there's a Nashville team. I think, isn't it hockey?
It is hockey.
Is it the Nashville Predators?
Yes. Good job.
Yeah.
Have either of them won a championship?
That's a good question. I don't believe the Titans ever have, off the top of my memory. Predators, on the other hand, may have. My current knowledge of them is that they haven't, but any prior knowledge, I don't know when. I feel like they were a newer team, but I could be wrong on that. That might be a bad memory
No,
call.
you are correct. They are a newer team.
Okay.
I believe they actually came in around the same time that the Wild did.
I don't think they've ever won one to my knowledge, so I'm gonna say no then.
You are correct, sir. There's never been a championship in the city of Nashville. Although I believe both the Predators and the Titans have played for their respective championship trophies, they have not won them.
Yeah.
Here's going to be the really tough one for you. One of them, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, all of them have been pretty tough, to be fair.
Portland, Oregon. One sports franchise.
Portland, Oregon, we have a basketball team, which is the God, I know.
You could probably see their colors too, can't you?
Isn't it like red and black?
Yep.
Um,
And orange, I believe. There's a touch of orange in it.
is there orange in there too? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the Trailblazers?
Yes, it is the Portland
Okay.
Trailblazers.
Oh. I knew I was gonna get there. The other, to be honest with you, I think the only reason I remember that, if I remember correctly, I think somebody I worked with used to work for that organization for a short time, and he talked about it all the time. I think that's the only reason I remember that I have any knowledge of the Trailblazers.
The reason I know
whatsoever.
about the Trailblazers is because when I was growing up and getting into basketball, they were nicknamed the Jailblazers.
Fair enough. Did they ever win a championship? I don't remember if they have, but for some reason, based upon my memory of the conversations I had with the guy, I'm going to say yes.
You are correct. They won they won the NBA championship in 1977.
Wow. Okay, I got lucky as hell on that then.
It has been 45 seasons and 45 years since Portland has had a championship. This next one should be relatively simple. If you don't get this, I'm going to be angry with you.
You're going to be angry with me. Let's go.
Dallas, Texas.
Have they ever won a championship?
They have 4 active franchises.
Man, I don't know. Man, I just gotta say no. The Cowboys have never won a championship. Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
The latest one was the Dallas Mavericks in 2011.
Yeah, that's right.
They've gone 44 seasons or 11 years without a championship.
Gotcha.
Salt Lake City, Utah. One sports franchise.
Oh, that's a tough one because I'm trying to remember who's the sports team in Salt Lake City. Isn't that baseball?
Nope.
Really, that's not.
They had a player nicknamed the Mailman.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Can you remember who that was?
No, that nickname doesn't mean anything to me. Unfortunately,
I will tell you, they were good enough that they were a thorn in the Chicago Bulls side during the Chicago Bulls runs.
Well, that obviously tells me it's basketball then. Because I know that it's not the Nuggets, because that's the Denver team. That's Denver Nuggets.
It's a type of music.
It's the Jazz?
Yep.
Utah Jazz?
Yep.
Jeez. Okay. Fucking Jazz. Have the Jazz ever won? You know what? It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Jazz have probably won one at some point.
Nope. The closest they got was back in the late 90s when they would joust with the Jordan's Bulls and would lose in 7 games.
I was just thinking, like, that team name sounds like it's so old. Who knows? They could have won something back in the fucking 1920s.
It's been
for all
40.
I know.
They've been in business 43 years,
Okay.
43 seasons, and never won a title.
Oof.
Montreal. Don't ask me what province that's in.
I'm not going to.
I don't fucking know.
I don't remember. I'm terrible at that. Have
Yeah,
they
me too.
ever won any championships? I think they have.
You would be correct. We all know they only had one team. It is the Canadians.
Mhm.
They won the Stanley Cup at last in 1993. So they have gone
Okay.
38 seasons or 29 years without one because they also had a baseball team for quite a number of
Really?
years. Yeah, they were called
Oh.
the Montreal Expos, and they
So
became
before me.
the Washington Nationals. That's where the Nationals
Okay.
came from.
Gotcha.
Sacramento, California, one active team.
Okay, so we're being very specific now. Sacramento. Which team's out of Sacramento?
Purple and black.
Purple and black. Huh. No, I'm not even getting close. My brain's fried on that one. I guess I'm just doing a 50-50 shot now at this point. I'm just going to say no.
You are correct. It is the Sacramento Kings.
The Kings. Okay, the Kings. That's right.
37 years,
Okay.
37 seasons.
They've come
no
close a couple
championships.
times, though. They've come close several times.
Yes, they have, but nope, they still have yet.
Actually. Oh, man, if
The
I would have
next
remembered
one.
it, I might have actually guessed wrong.
The next one, this should be easy for you. Miami, Florida. 4 active teams.
yeah. They've won.
Yep. Miami Heat in 2013.
The Heat. Yeah.
Yep.
The Miami Heat.
They have the Heat.
'Cause I was
Dolphins.
originally going. I was originally going to go Dolphins. The Dolphins haven't won. They got close a lot.
They got
Actually,
close.
no, they have. Actually,
Actually,
they
they
have.
have
They beat
won,
the.
'cause they had a
They
perfect
beat
season.
the. They had a perfect season. They also beat the Vikings and won.
Did
Yeah.
they?
Yeah. They're one of the ones that they won when it was when we were favored to win. And it was like
Oh,
7-0.
right.
It was that big famous one.
The Dolphins, the Heat, the Marlins, and the Panthers. It's been 36 seasons or 9 years since they've won a championship.
Fair enough.
Here's a fun
I
one
can't
for
complain.
you. Ottawa. One
The
team.
Senators?
The Senators is correct.
Have the Senators ever won? I feel like I have a. I think it's an incorrect memory. I think I'm remembering something completely different, but I'm going to say yes, even though I think it's wrong.
You are correct. But it's
Okay.
not because you remember the Senators ever being in the fucking
No,
hockey finals.
that's what I was going to say. It can't be.
The last time the Ottawa Senators won the Stanley Cup was 1927.
Okay.
Now, it's only
Fair
been
enough.
35 seasons since they had a championship. And why is that? Because they left Ottawa.
They left a while, yeah.
And they became... Do you remember? I don't remember who they became anymore. All I know is they fucking left, and then they got him back. So it's been 95 years since they've had a championship.
Jesus. Wow. Fair enough.
Orlando, Florida. One active sports team.
Is that a baseball team?
No.
Orlando, Florida?
Blue, black, and silver.
Yeah, for some reason I'm thinking baseball. I don't know why.
It is not baseball.
No, I know, but for some reason that's where my brain's going. I'm probably thinking the Marlins, and I don't know why.
They are, however, an appropriately named team for what else is in Orlando.
Fair enough. So they must be a hockey team then.
Nope.
Really, a basketball team
Correct.
in Orlando? In Orlando?
Yes.
Am I forgetting one? Am I just stupid?
Probably.
Probably.
Considering they've had 2 generational centers play for them.
Yeah, probably.
No, seriously, they have.
No. I mean, as in
And
like,
both of them wound up playing for the Lakers as well.
yeah, no. I mean, as in brain wise. Why am I forgetting? Because now I do remember the Orlando team, and I'm trying to remember now what the team is. And I'm trying to remember why my brain is so stupid at remembering what it is. Doesn't matter. I'm going to say yes.
No. The Orlando
Damn.
Magic
Magic, yes.
have never won a championship, despite
They've gotten
having
close several
both
times.
Shaquille O'Neal
Yeah.
and Dwight
And-
Howard.
Yep. Yep.
Calgary.
Fuck. I know. I don't remember the name of the team, but I know they have one. And I'm
They
pretty
do
sure
have
it's
one
hockey.
active team.
And I'm pretty damn sure it's hockey.
It is.
But I can't remember the name of their team right now off the top of my head, but I do know it. Have they ever won one, though? Off the top of my head, I say no, so I'm going to say no.
Incorrect. The Calgary Flames won a Stanley Cup in 1989.
Before me. That's
It's been 32 seasons or 33 years since they had a cup.
fair enough.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yes?
Of course, the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah. That's why I was
They
like,
also have
is
the
that a
Indiana
trick question?
Pacers, who have not, but the Colts
fair enough.
have won a Super Bowl in 2006 with Peyton
Yes,
Manning.
that's why I was like, that's a trick question.
This next
I
one
know
should
that
also
answer.
be very easy.
Yeah.
Edmonton.
Yes.
Yeah, they have the Edmonton Oilers,
Oilers.
from the NHL, which had Wade
Yeah.
Gretzky, and they won
Yeah.
a shitload.
Again, I was trying to remember if it was a trick question or not, and I'm like, no, this is pretty obvious.
San Jose, California.
Is that the... No, that's not the Padres, is it? No,
Nope,
we already
we've
talked about the
did
Padres. That
They
was
were
already...
San Diego.
San Diego. So, which one was San Jose? That was... Because it's a baseball team, right?
Nope.
Oh, then I'm thinking in the completely wrong direction.
They have an aquatic voracious mascot.
What, the Sharks?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that basketball?
Nope.
I don't... It's not hockey. It's not basketball.
It
No,
is
it's not
hockey.
baseball. So I could say it's hockey. Yeah.
It is hockey.
They don't come to mind so awfully, so terribly that I have to say no.
You are
Just
correct.
because my brain...
You are
Just because my
correct.
brain's just like, I
Despite
don't even
having-
remember them at all.
Despite having Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton play for them, they still have not. They've made it to a Cup Finals,
Oh, okay.
but they have yet to win one. 30 seasons or 31 years.
Jeez.
Chicago, Illinois.
Yes, they had the Bulls.
They also have the Cubs, who won a World
Yeah,
Series in 2016.
I guess true. That's true.
And
yeah.
the Blackhawks, who won 3
Yeah.
cups in like 4 years,
Yeah, exactly.
or something like that, or 3 and 6, or some crap like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
It's been 30
and then, of
seasons or
course-
only 6 years.
and of course, don't forget the Bears actually used to be good at one point in the 80s.
And the Bears have also won a Super Bowl, yes. Did the White Sox ever win one?
They might have, but it would have
They
been
might have.
pretty early
I think
on.
almost
I think it was
every
early on they did.
Yeah. Winnipeg.
That's the Jets, right? They call themselves the Winnipeg Jets.
That is the Jets.
Okay. Have they ever won one? My brain says no, so if they did, it would have been before that. I can remember, but I don't know how old of a team they are, so I'm going to say no.
You are correct. The current Winnipeg Jets were the Atlanta Thrashers. The former Winnipeg Jets are now the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh,
Yep, so there you go.
fair enough.
It's been 28 seasons or 43 years for the Jets,
Jeez.
for the city of Winnipeg. Jacksonville, Florida. One active franchise.
Yeah, obviously it's the Jaguars. The Jaguars have never won one. They had that miracle season early on, but they've never
They've had a
been
couple
able
of
to.
really, really good
They
seasons
have
early
more,
on, but they
but
could
they
never
just
get
have
over
never
the
been able to
AFC
capitalize it.
Championship hump.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
correct. 28 seasons, 28 years, still no championship.
Yep. Though it feels like every year they're getting closer and closer.
Newark, New Jersey.
Newark.
Newark.
Who the hell's out of Newark?
It's in New Jersey. I'll tell you this, it's the only franchise that claims New Jersey's its home despite other people playing there.
Oh. Is it like the New Jersey Devils?
Yes!
Okay.
Now you have to decide if they won the cup.
Have they ever won the cup? Again, I'm just going to have to go off of my gut and off of my current memory, which tells me no, so I'm going to say no.
You are incorrect.
They won
a Stanley Cup in 2003.
They did, okay.
Yep. 27 seasons or 19 years because they also had the Nets until they became the Brooklyn Nets.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that.
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes.
Yeah. 2 active franchises.
The Saints.
The Saints have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's been 26 years or 26 seasons or 13 years, but yeah, they've won one.
Since they cheated their way to win, yeah. Not saying we should take it away from you, just saying we should put an asterisk, you know?
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, which teams are in Columbus, Ohio?
One.
I know there is. Huh?
One.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know there's one that for sure that I know is there, and I'm just trying to remember which one it is.
It's a color and an item of clothing.
It's not the Red Sox.
No.
It's obviously not the White Sox.
No.
Is it a baseball team?
No.
Okay, good. Then I can at least move them out of the way. It's not a football team. I know that, so I can move that out of the way. So that means it's either going to be basketball or hockey.
Correct.
Columbus, Ohio makes me think it's hockey.
Correct.
Okay, so move basketball out of the way. So what teams are still left in hockey that I can think of? I'm sure for everyone that watches this, that actually watches more sports than I do, it's just pain.
They're yelling at the screen right now.
Like, how can you possibly not know?
It's a little different when you're put on the
Yellow
spot.
Jackets?
Very close. Blue Jackets.
Blue Jackets.
Very close, though.
Okay. Since the team is not a very familiar one to me, I'm going to say no.
You're correct. The Columbus Blue Jackets have never won a Stanley Cup.
Yay.
21 seasons or 22 years.
Wow. Okay.
Memphis, Tennessee.
That's the Grizzlies.
Correct. I didn't even have to tell you. Have they ever won a title?
Have the Grizzlies ever won a title? The thing is, I actually don't know, but I feel like the answer is yes for some reason.
You are incorrect. The answer is no.
Damn.
Memphis has never actually had a championship. 21 seasons, 21 years.
Must have came close a couple times then.
Baltimore.
Maybe not.
Baltimore, Maryland.
So obviously the one that I can think of is the Ravens, but we did technically have the Baltimore Colts, but I don't know if we're counting that.
We are not.
Okay, because I was going to say, because if we did, then the answer would be yes, because I think that the Colts did actually technically win when they were at Baltimore.
Believe so.
I know the Ravens haven't.
Are you sure about that?
That I can remember. Did they? Did they have a winning... I know they got to the Super Bowl, but I didn't think they won it. Did they manage to win it? Did Joe Flacco actually win them a Super Bowl?
Nope.
Was that? I was gonna say I
Joe
don't
Flacco
think
never
so.
did.
So if they did, it would have been before my time then, and it's not.
Actually,
Then I don't
Flacco
remember.
might have. I don't remember. I do know they have. So you're incorrect. The Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
have
they
won
must have then.
won a Super Bowl.
Huh.
They've won. I think
It must have
2
been that
Super
year
Bowls.
then. It was that year
2000
that
2012, and I believe they won one before that with Trent Dilfer.
Yes, Trent Dilfer. That's right. I
And the
remember that.
only score in that
2012,
game,
I think.
that only score in that game was a really long touchdown reception and then run after the catch by Shannon Sharp.
Yep. 2012, that was actually, if I remember right, Joe Flacco. And if I remember correctly, that's actually the year that we got knocked out of the playoffs where we had Mr. Automatic miss the kick.
No,
Wasn't
that
that
was
one?
98.
Was that 98? Okay.
It was 98.
But I do remember this 2012 one. I believe that was Joe Flacco.
I think the 2012.
And I think it did come down to a missed field goal.
Yeah, I think the 2012 one. Yeah, that was Joe Flacco. Also, the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, the Orioles. Okay.
Yeah. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Obviously.
Fuck the Eagles. Fuck them.
They also have the 76ers and the Phillies.
Yeah, I don't have much feelings about either one of those teams.
Oh, and the Flyers.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to
Yeah, I
forget
don't
the
have
Flyers
much feelings.
considering how bad they are.
Yeah.
But they also have won the cup, so.
True.
Seattle, Washington. Currently have 3 active teams.
Yes.
You are correct.
Was it the Wizards?
No, it's the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
The
For some reason, I
Seahawks
thought
did
the
win a
Wizards
title.
won one. Okay.
They won a Super Bowl in 2013.
2013. That's right.
They also have the Seattle Kraken, who are a brand new team and thus have not had a chance to really do much damage.
No,
And
yeah.
the Seattle Mariners,
The Mariners. That's right. The Mariners.
which have never won a title despite having Ken Griffey Jr.
Should have.
By the way, the Cincinnati Reds, that was Griffey's Jr. and Griffey Sr.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
It's been 19 seasons or 9 years in Seattle. Seattle also used to have the Supersonics that became the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
In fact, Kevin Durant played 1 season as a Supersonic before he was a member of the Thunder.
Oh, fair enough.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Well,
Three
obviously we have-
3 active franchises.
So when I think Cleveland, I think obviously of the Browns,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who else is in
Maroon and gold.
Cleveland?
Well, red and gold.
Don't we have the what are they called? The Cleveland's. God dang it! LeBron played for him.
Yep. That's why I was trying to get you to say.
Yeah. Shoot.
It's a fighter subclass in D&D.
I think all you did was confuse me more. Sorry, hold on. Shoot. Is it the Shoot. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it. It's right there though. I know it's right there.
Cavaliers.
The Cavaliers. The fucking Cavaliers, yes, the Cavaliers.
And they have one other one.
I believe it's a baseball team.
It is. It recently changed its
And-
name, so if you don't get it right, I will not penalize you for it.
Yeah, the Braves, right?
No,
the
that's
Indians.
Atlanta.
Yeah, the Indians, right?
Yeah, it was the Indians. They're the
They just
Guardians
changed their
now.
name.
Yeah.
The Guardians. That's right. Yes, the Guardians. That's right. Have they ever won? I believe the Indians. Did they ever win one? I think they did eventually win one, didn't they?
You were correct in the fact that Cleveland has a championship, but
But it
incorrect
wasn't the
about
Indians,
the
huh?
team. It was the Cavaliers.
Yeah. Obviously, I know the
LeBron
Cavaliers
won them
have.
a couple of titles.
Yeah. I know LeBron has, but I thought.
But no, the
I thought for
Guardians.
some reason-
The Guardians have played in the World Series. That's why the movie, Major
Yeah, I know
League,
there's that Major League joke.
they
yeah.
wrote the movie because the original writer of the movie was like, the only way I'll ever see them win a title
title.
is to script it in a movie.
Fair enough.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, that's the.
The other one
Yeah, what's the other one?
from Carolina. Do you remember their name?
No. That's the problem.
Do you remember what
don't.
sport they play?
Wasn't it hockey?
It is hockey. It is the Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes. Yeah, the Hurricanes. Yeah. Okay. I don't think they ever won one.
Incorrect.
Really,
2006.
they did. Oh, okay. Like, that's the problem, is that, like, even though it's happened during my time, I didn't start watching hockey until after high school, which was 2011. So
I totally understand. It's been
fortunately,
16
it's some of
it's
those
been
early
16 years.
2000 ones.
This
I'm
one should
just
also
not
be
gonna quite
easy
get
for
it
you.
yet.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Yes, God, fuck off.
They currently have 4 teams: the Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, and the Red Sox.
Next, you're gonna ask me about Santa Clara, and it's like, yes, move on.
No, I'm not going to ask you about Santa Clara. I'm going to ask you about Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh well, yes, move on.
They have the Pirates, the Penguins, and the Steelers.
Steelers, yeah.
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Well, I mean, obviously, we were talking about the Thunder. Have they ever won there, though? I don't think so, so no.
You are correct. They have not. Here's another one that should be easy for you. Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Fucking Green Bay, man.
Washington, D.C.
Ooh, DC. Okay, so we have...
4 teams.
Yeah, we have the Commanders.
Yep.
We have the Nationals, right?
Yep.
The Capitals.
Yep.
Oh, what's
You
the
said
last
the name of the other
one
one earlier.
Did I?
Yeah.
The last one's the... Is it basketball?
It is
Did I
basketball.
miss it?
And
Oh,
it's-
the Wizards, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Wizards.
They used to be. They used to be the Bullets.
Yeah. I like the Wizards better. The Wizards is better. Have any of them? I, for some reason, want to say no, but I'm gonna go against my gut and say yes.
You're correct.
I think it's the Capitals, right?
Capitals have, and the Nationals
okay.
have.
Okay, I didn't remember the Nationals.
The
but
Nationals
I remember
just won the
Capitals.
World Series in 2019.
Well, okay. Good thing I didn't get that wrong. That would have been embarrassing.
But yes, both the Capitals with Ovechkin and the Nationals have won a World Series.
Gotcha.
Or
Okay.
won a sports title.
Sports Center, yeah.
This one should also be easy. Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Three teams.
Yeah.
You're correct. The most recent one was in 2019 with the Toronto Raptors.
The Raptors, yeah. That's
They
the one I
also
was
have-
thinking of. I just couldn't remember their name.
They also have the Blue Jays,
Jays, yeah.
and the Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs. And then haven't the Leafs won as well?
They
in the
have,
past?
but not since before
Been a while, right?
1952. I think the last one they won was like
Gotta be a while ago.
50 something.
Long.
It was before they added Buffalo. Like the season
Oh,
before
okay.
they added Buffalo and the first expansion. It was literally the season before
Gotcha.
the first expansion. Because that was the last time they had Daryl Sittler, and Daryl Sittler, they traded him away from the team because they felt like he had too much agency over the team. It's a long story. I might actually do that as a trade dissection someday.
Fair enough.
Just to upset Toronto fans.
Fuck you, Toronto. Fair enough.
San Antonio, Texas. 1 team.
The Spurs, right?
Yep.
I believe they have one.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah.
Most recently in 2014, but I
Yeah,
don't think they've
that's what I
won
thought.
since Tim Duncan.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Las Vegas, Nevada. 2 teams.
Oh. currently we have obviously we have the Raiders currently there, which they haven't won while there, and they have the Golden Knights, which have had good runs, but haven't. Did they win? I don't think they did. I don't think so. No.
You are correct. They have not yet won a title
No.
as the Golden Knights.
They were in the cup though, weren't they?
They were
at the
like
cup.
their first season.
Yeah. It was against the. Who did they play? Was it the?
I do not remember.
I'm trying to remember who was in the finals that they played. I don't remember who it was.
But they lost.
Did it lose?
Yeah. Los Angeles, California.
Well, I mean, you got the LA Rams and Chargers, but the Rams won while there, so yes.
You also happen to have. You not only have that, you have the Angels, the Chargers, the Clippers, the Dodgers, the Ducks, the Kings, the Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah.
Yeah. So, yes. Oakland, California.
I mean, they had the Raiders, but they don't anymore, so I don't think they count. And even if they did, I don't think they ever won a championship while at Oakland. And I could be wrong on that, though. I don't think they did, though. So they have one team right now, then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who still plays at Oakland?
Their name does not have Oakland in the name.
Well, that makes it a little harder then. Baseball team?
Nope.
Oh. Hockey?
No.
Wow, really? So it's a basketball team. Basketball team.
Blue, white, and yellow.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to help enough. I don't know enough about basketball.
Shoots threes at a voracious rate.
Well, that's Steph Curry. But he played for... I thought he played on the Golden Knights.
The Golden Knights are a hockey team in Vegas.
Not Golden Knights. Sorry, the Golden State Warriors. Sorry, or
They're
Guardians,
in
or whatever
Oakland.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were officially in Oakland.
Yep.
Okay, well, fair enough. I would never have gotten there, to be honest,
No.
because I always think of their blue and gold jerseys. To be fair, too.
Well, that's why I said blue, white, and gold, because when they're at
Yeah,
home,
I don't
they
think
have
I
those
don't
white
think about
ones.
the white. Yeah, I don't think about the white ones like ever. So that's
the
just
blue
my.
and gold. Yeah.
Yeah, I was matching all three colors together in one jersey. That's why my brain was.
Yeah, no. So
Yeah.
if I'd have just gone blue and gold, you might have gotten there eventually.
Maybe. Yeah, the Golden State Warriors. Okay, is it Golden State Warriors or is it Golden State Guardians?
Warriors.
Warriors. Okay, Warriors. I think Guardians is a League of Legends team. Never mind. Funded by I think the same backing company, whatever. You know how that goes. Did they win one? I'm trying to remember if they won one. I think they did. I think they eventually did.
You are correct. 2018 is the most recent one, but they had a string where they won a couple.
Yeah. I figured they did because I know the last one I think the one that I had watched, they ended up losing. And I think it was to the Cavaliers, if I remember right.
St. Louis, Missouri. Two teams.
St. Louis, Missouri. They have a hockey team, if I remember correctly.
They do.
And I think the other one's a basketball team?
Nope.
Baseball, really?
Yep.
Okay. So we have the Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri. What are the two?
They're both named after the city, not the state.
Yeah. I figured, yeah.
One is a color, and one is an avian.
Oh, St. Louis that's not the Pelicans, right? No,
No,
that's
New Orleans.
New Orleans Pelicans, yeah. Oh shoot. St. Louis, is that Cardinals? St. Louis Cardinals?
Yes, that is one of
Okay.
them.
And the other one's named off color. I hate the color ones. Stop naming your team after colors. It's
Okay,
stupid.
they also have a music note as as their
Really?
Yeah, because it's not just named after the color; it's named after a style of music as well.
Yeah, the Blues, right?
Yep.
Huh. Fair enough, I guess.
Fair enough, right?
Have they ever won, though? I feel like the Cardinals probably have, so I'm going to say yes.
You are correct. Both of them have. The Blues finally also got over the hump in 2019 with the Stanley Cup.
Oh, fair enough.
2019 seems to be a year you deleted in your head.
Apparently.
This one should also be easy. Tampa, Florida.
Yes.
They have the Lightning, they have the Buccaneers, they have the and the Rays.
The Rays, yeah.
Yeah. The Rays have not. The other two both have.
No, but the other two have. Several occasions.
Atlanta, Georgia. 3 teams.
Okay, well, first off, you have the Falcons, which I believe they actually did win one. Would that have... Did Vic actually ever win one with the Falcons? Did he actually win one? I'm still saying yes. It's probably wrong, but I'm saying yes.
No, you are correct that they have won, but it was not the Falcons.
Was it not with Vic? Okay.
It was the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, the Braves, yeah, okay.
They also have the Hawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk about them, though.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 2
teams. So we got the Milwaukee... shoot. What's that basketball team? They have the deer or antlers or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Close enough. The Bucks.
The Bucks, yeah, there it is.
And the other one is named after something else the city is kind of famous for.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a baseball team, right?
It is a baseball
team. Milwaukee, isn't it? Come on. Doesn't it have something to do with beer?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember what it is. The Brewers, yeah, the Brewers. I believe the Bucks have.
Yes,
I think
in
they
2021.
Yeah, I think they just did it, yeah.
Yep. So, Kansas City.
Yes, let's move on.
Denver, Colorado.
Yes, let's move on.
San Francisco, California.
Yes, let's move on.
Houston, Texas. 3 teams.
Has Houston ever won? We have the Texans, obviously.
Yep.
The Texans have never won one. What's the other 2 teams in Houston? We have... Oh, the Astros, yes.
And also the Rockets.
Yeah.
That's it. That wasn't horrible. You did better than you thought you would.
I think I would say I got about half of them, probably.
Yeah. You did better than you thought you would. I don't know if I'll put up a scorecard while we're doing it or not, but it was fun, wasn't it?
There's going to be a lot of people out there who be like, how did you not know all of those?
Yeah.
Probably because I've only been actually a hardcore sports fan for the last couple of years. So anything prior to that is a lot of knowledge that I'm trying to pick up on.
For a lot longer than you, so I knew a lot more of those. I still would have missed Cincinnati because I had forgotten the Reds had ever won a World Series.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just as simple as there's just a lot of knowledge that I'm still trying to learn and remember and pick up on, and it's just as well as still trying to move forward with my current up-to-date knowledge. So it's just there's a lot of gaps there.
100%, but that was fun.
Especially to anything before I was born.
That was fun, wasn't it? I mean,
it was definitely interesting. It was definitely
an interesting little segment.
Definitely was one of those things where I had to really think about my memory and try to remember. I had to definitely dig into my knowledge banks because, football, all of those questions would have been easy as pie if it was just football related. But then the minute we had to go into other sports, that's when I was like, okay, let me dig into my knowledge of my other sports there. Which, as you can see, probably my weakest is more than likely the basketball.
Now, you are correct that Atlanta made a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That would be 98 when we missed the fucking field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be that one. Moss's rookie year.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, since we're done with that, let me go ahead. Let's do a hockey corner here. Because I have a brand new power rankings.
Woo woo.
Spoilers, there's a new number 1.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So, there have also been teams that have dropped off and teams that have moved around. Now, I also want to point out that these are through Friday again, because I did them Friday morning. So I've not taken into Friday night's games or Saturday's games into any of these results. I move my teams around in the top 10 a lot more because I base it on a week-to-week basis. I'm not looking at an overall season. I know there's a lot of guys and a lot of people that move there that don't move it because they look at it long-term, season-wise, and okay, you just kind of had a slow week. We'll see how you do next week, that kind of thing. I tend to move. You don't fall out of my top 10, but my top 10 jumbles around quite a bit just because I'm only doing a top 10. I'm not doing a full power rankings. And because I'm not looking at a whole season, I'm literally looking at you week to week and how are you doing for a week is kind of the way I look
exactly.
at it. So at number 10, we have a brand new team that have not yet graced my power rankings. It is the Edmonton Oilers. Their last 10, they are 8-2-0. They have a total of 90 points. They are currently third in their division. So they are above the playoff line. They are playing some really good hockey right now. And Connor McJesus, is probably going to lead them back into the playoffs. And he is currently sitting at 60 goals. And this is the first time in NHL history that they've had back-to-back 60-goal seasons. In not the first time, but it's been quite a number of years since anybody's done it. He's got some ridiculous numbers, man. He's never going to match the Edmonton Oilers records because, you know, we all know who holds those.
Right.
Yeah. At number 9, the New York Rangers. Last 10, 7-2-1, 94 points. As we mentioned, you're fine. As we mentioned, currently in the playoffs. They're doing pretty good right now. I think they're doing all right. I just didn't move them up further because again, they're on the rankings or they're off the rankings, and they're on the rankings or they're off the rankings. So I feel like I've got them right about where they should be.
Fair enough.
A team that has slid at number 8, the Carolina Hurricanes, who their last 10 is 6-4-0. Now they have clinched. They do have 100 points. But the trend for them this week has been disturbing, and they're either crushing people or getting beat by a goal or two. There hasn't been a lot of in between for them, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Gotcha.
Number 7 will be the New Jersey Devils. Their last 10 is 5-3-2, and they have 98 points. They have also clinched. But I think they just did that the other night because I think they won one again. The point is that they have played all right, but they need to be playing better. I think part of it is still trying to integrate Meyer into the lineup and everything else. So as they figure that out more, I think they'll get better. Number 6, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Last 10, they are 6-3-1. They have 95 points. They have not clinched yet, but we expect that to happen shortly. They've been having a lot of troubles with injuries, so their lines have kind of been blendered. Also, the fact that their lines are blendered so much, and they're trying to put guys that normally play on the third line up on the first line, and I don't think that's helping them right now. But at this point, I feel like they know that they're going to make the playoffs. So at this point, their coach is just throwing crap at a wall to see what sticks because it might become useful playoff time.
Why not?
I'd guess last 10 games or so, they'll go back to regular lines and just smash people.
Right.
Number 5, the Colorado Avalanche. 88 points, last 10, 7-2-1. Look, the Avs are playing some really good hockey. I'm very worried if we have to play them in the playoffs, to be honest. If we end up having to play them, in the playoffs to start this season, or to start off. I don't think we win that.
Fair enough.
They're finding their stride. They look really good. However, above them, at number 4, is the Minnesota Wild. Their last 10, they are 6-1-3. That has changed. They had 91 points. They now have 93 points as they won a game just the other day against Chicago. And they now stand atop the division with 93 points. Dallas has 92, and Colorado still has 88. Or no, they have 90 now, pardon. So we are 3 points up on Colorado. Anyway, point is, Minnesota's been playing all right hockey. I am beginning to worry that the lack of Kaprizov is exposing just how limited we are. Thankfully, Boldy seems to have found his stride, and Marcus Johansson, Mojo has been playing extremely well with him. I really hope, I want to re-sign him because having Boldy and Mojo on a line seems to work. I don't know why, but it works.
Fair enough.
Number 3, the Vegas Golden Knights. Last 10, 8-2-0, 96 points. Look, Vegas has come alive, man. They are absolutely crushing people right now. And as much as I would love for other teams to catch them, I don't know. They're playing really good hockey right now. Whatever was ailing them earlier this season, they've figured out. I don't know what it was, but they've got it under control now. At number 2, the Boston Bruins. The last 10, 7-3-0. They have 115 points. Look, I'm not going to mince words and say that, you know what? Boston's already clinched. They're going to be the number 1 seed. They've also clinched the division. They've been amazing this year. However, I think now that they know they've clinched division, they've clinched the 1 seed, they've clinched the playoffs, I think they're just going to coast. So they'll be up and down based on the weeks, just based on how they're playing, but don't read into that. They're still my odds-on favorite to win the Cups.
Gotcha.
And number 1 this week, the Los Angeles Kings, who in their last 10 have gone 8-0-2. So in the last 10 games, they've gotten points in all of them. They are at 92 points. Look, the Kings have figured it out. They are on fire right now. They are coming in hot into the playoffs. If I am looking at that division, they are the number 2 seed right now. Edmonton, I believe, is the one that's going to have to play them. And if I'm Edmonton, I'm not so sure I like that. That kind of pisses me off a little bit.
Fair.
That kind of pisses me off a little bit because the Kings are playing good hockey. Man, it's just nasty.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So that's kind of where we're at for that. I rather like doing those. So hopefully soon enough we will have playoff brackets. As soon as Chris and I have playoff brackets, we will fill those out, and then we'll see how good we are at predicting hockey crap.
Probably not very good.
Chris never usually pays attention to hockey until about the playoffs.
Around playoffs, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, real quick, college basketball news. There are no number 1 seeds left in March Madness. All of them got bounced.
Yep, that was pretty quick.
FAU...
Far quicker than I was expecting, to be honest with you.
I think FAU just made the Final Four?
I have no idea.
I just had a blurb. No, San Diego State punched their ticket.
Gotcha.
Over Crichton.
Yeah, see, there's a reason why I don't do those brackets for that, because I would be so wrong every time.
I used to, and I used to follow college basketball pretty heavily. This would be back in my high school and early college years when I was trying to do college and early Army years. I actually got into a lot of that kind of stuff, and I followed a lot of college basketball. Because I had friends that were really into it and we liked doing it and competing with each other.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But lately, I just whatever. I don't.
It's hard to keep up with because there's just so many games.
Also, it doesn't help that the home state teams that I would follow kind of suck.
That's fair too.
If the Gophers were good, I might pay more attention.
The best team that they have right now outside of hockey is their football team, and even that still has issues on occasion.
Yeah, but at least they have fun little sayings.
True.
Row the boat, ski Yuma.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Can't be mad about that.
Can't win them all.
Nope, you can't. But the Gophers had good teams.
They've had them, yeah. It's just
They
been a
just
while.
don't anymore. I mean, I'll never forget the Bobby Jackson, Joel Prisbilla Gophers.
Yeah.
But then, of course, there was Clem's Gems. But then there was the whole scandal with them paying... Yeah, let's not get into the academic issue with that.
Nope.
The other time the Gophers had a really good team was the women's team. Actually, was really, really good one year. Lindsay
Yeah,
Whalen,
I think they've had a
Lindsay
couple.
Whalen and Janelle McCarville.
Yep.
And in fact, the Minnesota Lynx were good for quite some period of time too.
They had half a decade, I think, where they were really good, or almost a decade.
The Lynx, yeah,
Yeah.
where
They
We've
were
had
pretty,
some
pretty much the
really,
top
really
with no
good teams.
questions.
Yeah, we had some
Yeah.
really, really good female
Though no one really
WNBA
paid-
stuff.
Though, of course, a lot of people don't watch it because they don't find it as entertaining.
But I'm
Unfortunate.
not going to say that they weren't good. They were fantastic.
No, they're great players. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying a lot of people just don't end up watching it because they just don't think it's as entertaining, and that's unfortunate.
I think so too.
Because there is a lot of skill there. Like,
I
don't
almost
get me
think
wrong.
they're more skilled because you're not relying on all the dunking. I think their ability to shoot the ball.
Well, I was gonna say it depends on the situation. So, like, I would say like the top cream of the crop in the women's basketball league are entertaining to watch, and I would say the rest a little less so, in my opinion. But the top 3-5 players are fun to watch. The rest,
I remember
couldn't-
back when Teresi was a big time player. Everybody knew who Deanna Teresi was, and
Yeah.
you know, there were. I think there have been some very interesting.
There have been some names that have come out that people have been like, yeah, those players are just that good.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I just think the
Super-
downside is that there's just not enough of those kinds of players in that league to make it interesting enough for a lot of people yet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm hoping that it eventually builds to where you're going to have a lot more. Because the problem is, like, for the Lynx, for a while, they had,
Maya
they had,
Moore.
like, almost a decade, but they had, like, the two best players in the league that
Yeah.
no one could touch.
Yeah. 100%. They had
So-
Maya
so
Moore,
when
and I
you-
forget who the other one was, but
Yeah, I forget who it was, but they had like the two best players in the league for the longest time, and so people were like, "Well, what are we gonna do? We just can't outplay that."
well, and that's
So I'm-
something that's just happened recently too. One
That
of
just
the
makes it-
teams they formed like 3 or 4 of them are
Yeah.
all on the same team now.
Yeah, and so unfortunately for a league like that, where you have only maybe a dozen or so players that are really really good, and even among them only maybe half a dozen are actually among the elite. It makes it difficult to watch because you just know, okay, this team's stacked, so because they have all the best players, they're going to win every time.
Yeah, but it's
And they
gonna,
typically do.
It's going to take time. 'Cause
So
that happened.
I'm hoping. That's why I'm saying I'm hoping it builds. I'm hoping that we have more and more of those kinds of players, and thus it'll make it more and more like the regular NBA or any other sport
Yeah,
where you
and I
have
think
a spreading wealth of talent.
I
right?
think
it's just not
as-
there yet.
I think as the acceptance of women's sports grows, which it's slowly doing, I think more and more young women will begin getting into sports, which means you'll eventually have a larger dearth of talent.
And I know that this might come across as potentially a debatable topic if we end up wanting to go down the road, but when I say women's sports, I mean women sports. I'm sorry. If you're a trans woman, you shouldn't be competing in women's sports.
I don't.
It's
know
just
that,
not fair.
but I don't know that a whole lot of them are. But
there's enough of them where you see them in the news on occasion, and it's enough where I'm just like, that's like you heard about there's the big fisher, the big swimmer that everyone knows. I forget what her name is, like Leia something or whatever. Big, a college, used to be college male swimmer who was ranked,
I don't know.
fairly low.
The point that I'm going to bring across
Is one of the top swimmers, considered one of the top swimmers in the women's field. So all I'm saying is that I'm cool with promoting women's sports when it's women's sports.
Here's what I do want to bring out of you.
If there's going to be other leagues, we can have other leagues. It's fine.
No, here's what I do want to bring out of you, because I don't want anybody to misconstrue this, and because I know you well enough to know what the answer is going to be before I ask it. Should women who become men compete in men's sports?
No.
See? And that's because I'm going to head that off because somebody would say something like that, but I already know that you're consistent about it.
No, yeah, I'm
Your
consistent. I don't think either way makes any sense either.
Way.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I hate to be that person, but it just comes down to the genetics of it at this time. Genetically, we do not have the ability to remove the testosterone from somebody who was born a male. And so because of that, or vice versa, add testosterone to somebody who has, you can only get so much, right? So somebody who's a trans male, somebody who was originally a woman who has transitioned into a male, will just simply not have the same bone structure and muscle structure that a biological male does. So them going into a male league leads them to higher risks of them being hurt, which isn't okay. And you have the same problem going in the reverse, where you have somebody who was originally a male ends up transitioning to a woman, still has a lot of that testosterone, a lot of that muscle mass, and muscle structural density, that they have a higher chance of injuring women into that side sport, and that's also not okay. And so it's kind of like the idea of whenever you see, there was that discussion, I think a while ago, like we're talking probably several years ago now, but where there was that trans woman UFC fighter, and there was a big discussion about that. You might have missed that, but basically it was a trans woman who entered into the UFC fighting, which is where they fight each other, right? And there was a big discussion of, should that be allowed? Is that okay? And ultimately it was deemed that maybe this is not okay, because you have somebody who is just physically able to be stronger than a woman who can just literally, the definition of manhandling in some cases. Now that's not to say that women can't beat up men. It does happen. I'm just saying, when you're going to the UFC where you're trying to be at peak performances, one's going to be able to achieve a higher peak than another just because of the genetics of how that worked, the hunter-gatherer versus... You see what I'm saying?
I get where you're coming from.
I hate for it to come down to, like, that preachy... Like, I hate where it sounds like it comes off as, like, scientific preachy. But I guess the root of it comes down to, I'm worried about people getting hurt. And I don't want anyone hurt.
Now, here's the thing that I also want to bring out, because I know you well enough to know you. If there were good, solid data that you could look at that proved that that wasn't the case, you might change your attitude. Or if we had better if we had better scientific methods to either extract testosterone or add extra testosterone and things of that nature, you would be all in favor of it. It would be okay.
That's why I said, at our current state of our medical technology for transitioning, there just is no way to truly transition somebody from being a male to a female. We just don't have the way to do that. Vice versa.
I am smart enough to know that these are things that you're trying to say, but that you're like me and you're going all the way around an issue, and I'm just going to cut through the middle of bullshit and be like, no, here's boom, because these are things people are going to. Would say, so I want to be sure that we address them first, because I know you well enough to be able to get what I want out of you. Well, and that sounds wrong. To be able to get the proper answer, or the answer that is really what you are out of you.
I'm primarily worried about people being hurt, and if there was a way or a method that we had that would make it so people wouldn't get hurt but played on the same playing field, then I would be fine.
On a level equal field.
Yeah, but we just simply aren't there
I
yet.
will point
and
out
because of
that there will never be such
yeah.
a thing as a level equal field, and I'm not just talking about men and women.
No. But I mean, as in the fact of at least if we can keep
If there was a level
the
equal playing field, I could play basketball.
yeah, exactly. I mean more in the aspect of level equal comparatively to each other, like that there isn't going to be a genetic difference between one to the other that we can comparably go, oh, this person has a higher risk of injury over this person. If there is, so yeah,
that makes a lot of sense, and that's I get where you're coming from, but I wanted to make sure that point came out properly because I didn't want somebody to try to look around and go, oh, he's just being trans. No, he's not being trans.
Yeah, no, it's not nothing to do with that.
For my brother, it is a safety concern to him.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure that we could have things so that you don't have somebody who's trying to cheat a system or trying to game a system, and also could potentially injure other people who are legitimately trying to play in the sport.
Yeah.
So that's what he is worried about.
Yeah.
So it does happen. I will say it happens less than what we probably think it does.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I don't think it's a hot button super issue that people that certain groups of people want to make it out to be.
Yeah, it shouldn't be as big of an issue as people want it to, as some people want to make it be.
100%.
I think most rational people can agree with the basic understanding of you can do and be who you want to be, but there will also always be consequences to whatever actions you always take, and you can't be. I guess consequences maybe is not the right word, but there will always be outcomes to any decisions you make, and sometimes some outcomes are not going to be what you like at this current time, and that's just sometimes the way things are.
Yes, 100%.
And sometimes and quite often, it sounds mean and cruel, but unfortunately, life is not fair, and life isn't a utopia, and unfortunately, it never really will be.
Nope. And I'm going to quote...
But being able to accept that and be able to love each other regardless is important.
I am going to quote from my favorite one of my favorite television shows that sadly is no longer on the air, but might be getting a reboot. Whole long story there. I take a great comfort in the general unfairness of life. Could you imagine how horrible life would be if everything were fair and everything bad that happened to you, you knew it was because you deserved it?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's from Babylon 5.
Yep.
Fantastic show, by the way.
I'm looking forward to a potential reboot, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see where that ends up. But yes, I am with you 100%. I am also looking forward to a potential reboot.
Yeah, but it's so true though. Like, if it turned out the world was actually fair, man, that would be sad and depressing to find out that, like, man, no wonder my life's shit because I guess I'm just a shitty person.
Exactly. If everybody got exactly what they deserved, I don't think as many people would be as happy as what they think they would.
Probably, actually. Because there are a lot of people who maybe would actually... I know a lot of people, like our mom, who, super nice person, super caring, super loving. If she came into a lot of money, though, she wouldn't know what to do with it. Because she's not the type of person that wants a lot of money. No. Yeah, she'd end up giving it away to people. Because that's just the type of person she is.
Knowing our mother, yes.
She wouldn't be happy with a bunch of money. So... yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, it's just learn to live with the hand that you're dealt with, and any decisions you make, you just have to learn with whatever comes afterwards.
Exactly.
And it's not an easy ride. It's not a fair ride, and it's never gonna be easy. But if you work hard and you put in enough time and effort into it, I promise that eventually you will be in a better place. Eventually.
100%.
Might take time, but you'll eventually get there.
Anyway, so to wrap everything up, I did do a trade dissection. I did do the Cam Neely trade dissection, which proves that we can blame Vancouver for why Boston is Boston. He's just a little monkey now, isn't he?
He's being a bit hyper all of a sudden. I'm not sure why.
Now he's hanging upside down from your thumb.
Yeah, he's just hanging out now. He's being very hyper right now all of a sudden. I'm not sure why. Good thing we're closing up here.
Now you can play with him.
Yep,
all right.
I think he just wants attention.
So, did the Cam Neely one. I did leave a little clue in there. The next one I plan to do, I'm going to take and look at the dismantling of a championship team, and we're going to follow the path of a player who has always been considered a sidekick, and it is an NBA team. So, I will let everybody kind of guess who that could possibly be. I'm doing the research now. It may be another couple of weeks before it comes out. But that is kind of going to be that. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
I got nothing else.
Alrighty. Well, if you got nothing else and I got nothing else, then let's go ahead and wrap this up and say, if you like what we do here, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, share us with friends of yours that are like-minded and want to see two idiots make idiots of themselves online for everybody's amusement. We hope that you all stay bearded. We hope that you all stay safe. And we will see you next time.